What's going on, football fans? What's going on, college football fans? This is time to talk about another day of college football. I know it's a little late and everything. Please forgive me. I just wanted to get this schedule out before the day ends. Today we got the Miami Hurricanes, man. I'm talking about the U. The U. Everybody likes the U in Florida, man. Man, I'm talking about, man. I know so many people like the U. The U is a great team. They had so many past history of going 10 and 2, 11 and 1, 12 and 0, especially in like the 90s and early 2000s, man. Man, the U was booming back then. This year, the U might be coming back. Will they be good? As good as they used to be? I don't think so. I mean, they still got room to grow, a lot of room to grow, but they won't be the same U as they used to be. With that being said, let's talk about last season. Last season they were second in the ACC Coastal Division. They did beat Pitt. You know, Pitt was the ACC champs, and they did win by 3. That score last year was, well, actually they won by 4. That score was 38-34 last year. They lost a few close games. They lost to Virginia, North Carolina, and Florida State. They lost to Virginia 30-28. They lost to North Carolina 45-42. They lost to Florida State 31-28. Now, I do have some good news for you, Miami fans. I do think you guys will be better than last year. You guys went 75 last year. Y'all went 75 last year. So, I think you guys will have a better year. I'm thinking 10-2, but we'll have to, debate that over. We'll have to talk about that. By the way, we got 26 days left for college football come. I hope you guys are excited. I am excited. I'm ready for college football. I love college football. Been watching college football a long time. By the way, I changed my name to RW Vision. It's not Sports and Knowledge anymore. I changed it to RW Vision. I think that it is more because I do have a vision for this channel. I have a vision for this channel, and I have a vision for you. I want to help you. If you are a sports bettor, I advise you to think closely on what my picks are every game, because like for instance, Miami is favored every game besides Pitt, Clemson, and Texas A&M this year. So that's 3 games. Could they go 9-3? Yes, I can believe they go 9-3. Could they go 10-2? Yes, I believe they can go 10-2. So let's talk a little bit about what they have. As now they have new head coach Mario Cristobal. Mario Cristobal was the head coach at Oregon. And yes, he recruited well at Oregon. Oregon was always competing for the Pac-12 championship game. Also, he beat Ohio State last year. And if it wasn't for that loss to, if Ohio State had not lost to Michigan and Oregon, they definitely would have been in the playoffs last year. Mario Cristobal history at Oregon was 62-60. He was 3-3 in bowl games. Also, he came to Miami this year, and he is doing quite well in the transfer portal. And he had the number 16 recruiting class this year. He had 10 4-star recruits. With that being said, let's talk about their quarterback, who I think could potentially be the best quarterback in the ACC. At quarterback, they have Tyler Van Dyke. Tyler Van Dyke will be a starter again this year. Little do you know that he began starting the 3rd game of the year last year when they was playing Central Connecticut University in a football game when they blew them out. I don't think Central Connecticut scored a point. The last 6 games that Tyler Van Dyke been a starting quarterback for the University of Miami, they went 5-1. That is very important. And he had 2,900 yards and 25 touchdowns with only 6 interceptions. That is a pretty good touchdown to interception ratio. And I do have him picked to be a all-ACC type quarterback this year. At running back, they have 2-head monster. They have Jalen Knighton and the new transfer running back and Henry Parrish. Henry Parrish had 111 yards versus Arkansas. That's a pretty good defense they went against. And so he will be with the Miami Hurricanes this season instead of playing for Ole Miss. So I think Jalen Knighton will be a star running back. And Henry Parrish will, he'll get him some snaps in. Now, my question about Miami is not their receiver core. It is their receiver core. I don't think it's their quarterback, their running back, offensive line. Their receivers, you had 2 of them that left in the transfer portal. Everybody else, stayed, and you got quite a few transfers. You got a guy named Frank Latson Jr. He's a transfer for Clemson. At Clemson, he had 428 yards, 6 touchdowns in 3 seasons at Clemson. So he would have a lot to prove. Also, guys that need to prove themselves is Keyshawn Smith and Xavier Restrepo. Now let's go over to tight end. At tight end, they would have a top 5 tight end in the ACC. Will Mallory, he would be a top 5 tight end in the ACC. Last year, Mallory had 30 catches for 347 yards and 4 touchdowns. He would need to play bigger this year. I do know that. They would need him because of the lack at receiver and the lack at, well, it's not saying I'm not saying they're trash or anything. They just don't have the experience, if that makes sense to you guys. Let me know in the comment section what you guys think about these receivers, man, that Miami have. Let's talk about the offensive line. The offensive lineman, Miami will have one of the best offensive lines in the ACC, especially Zion Nelson. Zion Nelson will play on Sundays for sure. He is a pancake machine. He will be an All-American again. And they also have a guard named DJ Scafee. They will have the second best O-line unit in the Coastal Division of the ACC. Now, they had the 8th best defense in the ACC. Now, I think they would be a lot better because the guys that were freshmen are now sophomores this year, and they got a few transfer players that, have college experience and everything. So I think they would not be 8. They might move to 7 or 6 or 5. Who knows? I just know they'll be better at defense this year because, you have these true freshmen. They have that whole year of experience. I know they'll be better. Now, at defense, let's start with the defensive line. Of course, they Miami run a 4-3 defense. At D-line, they would have Jonathan Dennis and Logan Sagopalo. They also would have a number of guys that would be productive like Jacob Lysington, Antonio Moultrie, Mitchell Agood, and Akeem Massador. He's a transfer student from West Virginia. And Mitchell Agood was a transfer player from UCLA. They got quite a lot of transfer players from UCLA. I'm sorry, from the transfer portal. Also, they got other guys that transferred. At linebacker, this is probably my question mark here at linebacker. Usually Miami will have some very good linebackers in the past, but now, I have question marks all over it. The Sam, the Will, the middle linebacker, all these linebackers, I have a question mark there. This season, they will have Caleb Johnson will most likely start for the Kings at linebacker. He's a transfer from UCLA. At middle linebacker, they have Keontra Smith Jr. He's an outside linebacker. He's the only returning upperclassman for the Hurricanes at linebacker. They also will have Gilbert Fryston. He's another outside linebacker. He's a transfer player. I mean, look at all these transfer players I named. What's that, like 7 players that's transferred that's going to be getting minutes on the field. At corner, they'll have Daryl Porter at transfer from West Virginia. He was very, very productive for West Virginia, by the way. He was very productive, so he would definitely be a good piece for them. Another transfer player is Tyrique Stevenson. He is a junior transfer. Look at all these names I done listed, man. All these transfer players. At safety, they would have James Williams and Cameron Kitchens, who were both true freshmen last year, but they will be better this year because they entered their sophomore season and they have the whole year of experience from last year. So I do think that they will be better. And these guys that transfer, they have a lot of experience in college football. And so, I think Mario Cristobal will get these guys together. I really think these guys will be, by the time they play North Carolina, I think they'll be pretty good working together. We'll talk about the schedule in a little bit, but let's talk about the schedule now, actually. So here we go. September 3rd, first game of the year of Cupcake. Bethune-Cookman in Florida. This will be the easiest game on the year. This should be a blowout. I think this game is very important for confidence, for one. When you're Miami, you had Alabama last year. Alabama beat you 44-13. It was a blowout. That game did help you. At the same time, you guys played a powerhouse for the first game last year. I think that this will help you playing a cupcake because all these new guys, the transfer players, that are filling these positions, you got to find some more linebackers, of course. I think this would be a good foot in the door game. I know this game would not be close, but this would be a good game to figure out who's going to be your go-to guys, who's going to be your star defensive players, and things like that. That's a win. I got a green check mark for a win for that game. The next game is Southern Miss, September the 10th. Southern Miss would not be able to continue with Miami. This should not be close at all. So you have two cupcakes in a row before the big game, A&M. Now this game, Texas A&M is favorite. If you go to FanDuel, Texas A&M has a -8, and Miami has an 8 on FanDuel.com. They have them favored. Like I said earlier in the video, I said that A&M, Clemson, and Pitt are the only 3 teams that are favored on Miami's schedule. So they could possibly go 9-3. They could possibly go 10-2. I'm actually giving you guys the benefit of the doubt, Miami fans. I'm giving you guys 10 games because Mario Cristobal is doing so much for y'all right now. I mean, the transfer portal he's killing the transfer portal. He is killing the recruiting class. And he is a hell of a coach. You know, he's a good coach, man. You have to be a good coach to beat Ohio State when he was at Oregon last year. I mean, I think that he will be able to have an identity with the running game for sure. And if you have a good running game, that tight end I mentioned, Will Mallory, will be effective. Those wide receivers will be effective. Although they have not proved themselves, I know they'll be effective because you got the quarterback. Like I said, Tyler Van Dyke will be a top 2 quarterback this year. He might be even the best quarterback in the ACC. So the A&M game, this is a away game. If this game was in Miami, man, I'm telling you, I might have picked Miami if this game was in Miami. But it is in Aggieland, and Aggieland has those 102,000 people be screaming in their cadet uniforms. This is going to be a tough game for Miami. I have Texas A&M winning this game, but I do know this will be a good game. This will not be like Alabama versus Miami last year. Miami lost badly to Alabama. This will be a better game. The next game you have Middle Tennessee. Middle Tennessee is not as talented as Miami. This is another cupcake game. You know, this schedule is a lot easier than last year's schedule. Last year, the first 4 games was between Alabama and Michigan State for Miami last year. Now, the first 4 games, you got 3 cupcakes and a superpower team. So, you know, I mean, you got a better, chance to have wins here. So, I have a win for Miami against Middle Tennessee. The next game is a very interesting game coming off a bye week. You have North Carolina at home. The thing about North Carolina, they did beat North Carolina with Sam Howell, with Josh Downs. Those are good players. Josh Downs will be the best wide receiver in the ACC this year. But he would not have Sam Howell throwing him the football. He would have a new quarterback. So there's a lot of changes. And also Ty Chandler from North Carolina is gone. That's another NFL player. I got Miami winning this game. And I do expect this to be a pretty good game. Now, here we go with Virginia Tech. You have to watch Virginia Tech, man. You know, they one of those ACC teams that be like, oh my God, they embarrassed this team. The next week, they get embarrassed. They're one of that type of team, and it's on the road. Now, Miami, I got them winning this game. But I wouldn't be surprised if they lose this game. I would not be surprised. Virginia Tech is pretty good at home, guys. Duke University. Now, if this was a basketball game, I would pick Duke all the way. I'm very high on Duke in basketball. Duke is a blue blood in basketball, but luckily for Miami fans, this is a football game, and I think this will be a blowout. It won't be a contest. Now, this is another game, Virginia. This is another game that you shouldn't sleep on in Virginia. I think Virginia won 6 games last year. They are a bowl eligible kind of team, and they do have 3 wide receivers that are number 1 type of wide receivers on Virginia team. And all 3 of them will probably go to the NFL. If Miami's secondary struggles with this offense, because Virginia does have probably the top 5 offense, but they got the worst defense outside of Duke in the ACC. I have Miami winning this game. Now here we go with a rivalry game versus Florida State at home. I highlight this game red because this is a very interesting game. I do expect Florida State to be better this year. However, they do have a tough schedule. Actually, Florida State have one of the toughest schedules in the ACC. I expect Miami to win this game because last year they lost a nail biter to this team, and I expect Miami to be better this year. But I would not be surprised if Florida State just somehow Mike Norvell pull it off against Miami. But I know that Miami is favored this game. I'm picking Miami to win this game. The next game versus Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech is probably the worst, one of the worst ACC teams in the nation. I don't expect them to win this game at all. Give me just a second. Let me pull this schedule up. Give me just a second, guys. Just a second. Hold up. All right, here we go. Now, Georgia Tech does have a pretty good running game, but that's about it. Their defense is not it's kind of mediocre and everything. I expect Miami to win this game. Now, here is another interesting game. The last two games of the year are very important for Miami if they want to have a 10-game win season. So you have Clemson on the road and you have Pitt at home. Both teams are very capable of beating you. Both teams are capable of beating you. I have them losing to Clemson because Clemson has, I'm telling you right now, they may go undefeated with this team they have in Clemson. They have the best defense in the ACC. That front seven of Clemson is not no joke, guys. It's not any joke, man. Watch them play this year. They're going to be a lot better this year. Trust me. I have them losing to this game. Now, this game right here is a hit or miss right here against Pitt. I would say a hit or miss. November 26th, this will be a huge game. Last year, they beat Pitt. And Pitt was a better team last year. They had a NFL quarterback and an NFL wide receiver who transferred to USC to play with Caleb Williams and Jordan Addison. They do not have those guys anymore. But they will still be pretty good. I do have Miami winning this game. Pitt is favored this game, but I'm giving Miami fans the benefit of the doubt. So I have Miami winning this game. And there you go, folks, 10-2. However, just let me know what you guys think in the comment section. Do you think Miami would go 10 games? Do you think they would win 9 games or 8 games? I know they're not winning 11. I wouldn't stretch it that far. Who would they lose to if they win 9 games or 7 games or 8 games? Who would they lose to? Would they lose more than A&M or Clemson? Would they lose to Pitt? Would they lose to Florida State? Would they lose to Virginia? Who else would they lose to? And let me know in the comment section, guys. So be sure to hit that like button and smash the subscribe button. I appreciate your time. Thank you for watching. And tell everybody, share this video, guys. I got another video coming. I got 2 more ACC teams. I'm going to talk about Florida State and Clemson this year before I get to the Big Ten. So, guys, y'all have a good night, and I'll see y'all tomorrow. Thank you.